Let's have an alcohol-free New Year. If somebody told me that a few years ago, I would have thought they were mad. I've never had an alcohol-free year since I was about 13 years old. It's a big thing in the Northeast and a big thing in London, a big thing everywhere, New Year, isn't it? I remember my first New Year's Eve, I was about 14 in the Northeast, and it was basically that the tradition then was to go around different neighbours, really, people you didn't even know, house for New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve was a massive, massive celebration. And it was a thing called first footing, where somebody would take a piece of coal or something. It was a really old tradition, and some drinks, and it was an all-night thing, really, when I was a youngster. And I remember my first proper drinking New Year's Eve was about 14, 15. I had a few home brews with my dad, and he was a local policeman, actually. He went around with a few of his friends, and he was going out to see some mates of his, and I sort of tagged along, would you believe? And it was tradition then to go have a few drinks and go from, go and see your neighbours and Happy New Year and Old Lang Syne and all that sort of thing. And from then on, it was always a thing, the clock tower in the town, to go there and wish everybody Happy New Year and all that sort of business, After a good night on the drink, as it were. As I got older, then you would drink on New Year's Day as well. You just sort of carry on through, really. When I look back, it was 24 hours of drinking. And it seemed to be that most people did it. This first footing and traditional going to see, next door and walk around the town. People were up all night. And then they would have this Boxing Day hunt the next day and all this carrying. So I never had a sober New Year's Eve until I stopped drinking now and again, the odd relapse. But now I've had 5 in a row. And I had 8 in a row years and years ago. It's the best thing I ever did, because New Year's Eve is a big celebration, isn't it? This New Year, I'd like you all to join me and try and get sober. If you can't be sober on New Year's Eve, then look at New Year's Day. I know it's no cliche, we're going to start a new life, a new day, and New Year's resolutions, but if you're a drinker, you've got to look at some point, you're going to have to cut down and maybe stop if that's affecting your health. Because being an active addiction New Year is no fun. All you do when you're in active addiction New Year is, like I did for years, just sat in my flat, watched a bit of TV and watched the fireworks on the TV, until at some point I didn't have any TV, because I had no appliances working, and I had no heating and things like that when I was at the bottom of the bottle. So if you want to have a sober New Year, you've got to plan ahead a bit late to start stopping drinking now, if that makes sense. Have a New Year, and what I mean by that is have the New Year the best you can, and let's start to try and cut down if you want to cut down. I'm not preaching to anybody here, you can drink as much as you want, but I'm trying to help people. Because it's so socially acceptable here, isn't it? That we all drink. I remember when I was in the police in central London, I policed a couple of New Year's Eves, and it was absolute madness on the streets. I mean, years ago, they used to have Trafalgar Square fountains open and whatnot. They're now all boarded up and things like that. But the amount of people, visitors, people from all over the world, will converge on London and Edinburgh as well for New Year. And when I used to drink too much, and I would regret it for days after. It's not much of a good start to the year, is it? Being hungover and going for a live night the next day and all that sort of thing. It's not good for your system. It's not good for your brain. It's not good for anything. So if you want to start looking at the new year, it's a brilliant time to start this sober trail, I think. And don't reflect too much on last year. Don't have too many regrets. Move forward. We can all look back in the past and reflect, but it's not really. It doesn't do you any good. And when you feel guilty and you have regrets, and what's the point? Think about today. Think about tomorrow. Life's too short to worry about the past, and actually life's too short about worrying about in the future, because people get stressed about things, and 90% of what you get stressed about doesn't happen anyway, does it? When you think about all the things you're worried about all your life, all that matters when you're in a hospital on a drip with oxygen on you, with heart walls, you just want to breathe, you want to live your life. And I know so many people, the longer I've been doing this for 8 months now, so many people contact me, say they've lost relatives or they're in a mess through alcohol. New Year should be a good start. Even if you kind of just stop drinking and cut down and go and see the doctor, make some effort to look at your future. Because once your health is gone, everything's gone. You know, there's that saying, your health is your wealth. And it wasn't until I was really at death's door that I thought, well, wait a minute, you're going to have to grow up here. You can't be relapsing. No matter how much you get of a craving, you've got to stem it off with something. Alcohol-free drinks has been my saviour. It's not everybody's. But think about it, you know. What is the point? Do you want to die young? Do you want to be in a wheelchair? I've got numerous friends who are younger than me, the same age as me, who can't really function anymore because they've been told to stop. So they've stopped and relapsed and just will not give it up. I know it's an addiction, but I'm convinced myself now that once you get medical help, if you need it, it's down to yourself and your brain. And you've got to focus, you've got to be really tough. I'm not saying I'm the toughest person in the world, I'm not. I'm very emotional, I'm quite a soft person inside, really. And loads of people know me will say, well, you're a very caring person. I'm not hard as nails, but mentally I'm strong. Because mentally I've had to be strong because I've got a daughter, I've got a grandson, I've got a mother, I've got a beautiful partner. I want to be strong for them. And if I ever get tempted to have a drink, I think about them now. I think about the impact on their life, not my life, on their life. And think about the other people in your life. Think about the people that are going forward with you. And think about how disappointed they'd be. I was speaking to a couple of lads the other night who are just on the verge of starting to drink again. They've been off for a couple of years. So I might have a drink over Christmas now. And they said, what will stop you? I said, because I've got a daughter, I've got a girlfriend. I've got responsibilities. And I wouldn't want to let the consultants down who saved my life either. Just for a few drinks. Because that few drinks is short-term gain for a lot of long-term pain. It's not only you who will suffer. Your relatives will suffer, your family will suffer, and people, your friends will suffer. No one wants to see you go down that road again of relapse. So you can have a sober new year. And if you can't do it this year, make sure that you do it next year. Even if it takes you months and months and months to get sober or to cut down, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, and I'll help you with it as well. That's why I'm here, trying to help as many people as possible give this up. It's affecting more people than ever, alcohol, regardless of people's misconception of it, or younger people aren't drinking as much. Alcohol-related deaths are higher than they've ever been in history. All right? Now that's a big marker, a big indicator, isn't it? Liver disease deaths on females is up 35%. Massive increase in females dying. The average age for death from alcohol-related disease is 54. The average life expectancy in the UK is roughly about 82. You're not nearly 30 years off your life because you fancy going out tomorrow night, this New Year. A lot of people on here have contacted me over relapse over Christmas. What is the point? Just for one day? Tomorrow is Tuesday, it's New Year's Eve. Do something different, plan ahead, keep busy, get some nice food in, put some music on, do whatever you want to do, but keep out the boozer. If you want to go to the boozer, have a couple of 0%, fruit juice, water, whatever, come home again. Because you'll be tempted to stay. The pub's there, it's all glittery and nice and warm, and a bit of music playing, everyone you think is happy, but not everyone's happy in that pub, I'm telling you that now. A lot of problem drinkers in the pubs nowadays. Be different. There's nothing wrong with being different. And it's yourself you want to look after, because you can't look after anybody else if you don't look after yourself. Yourself, your family, your friends. Be strong, be reliable. Any issues at all, contact me. If you enjoy the channel or benefit from it, shall I say, then please subscribe and leave me a comment if you wish. And I will speak to you very soon. As I said, if you've got any doubts at all, there's 8,500 of us on here now. All of us have been through some sort of grief with alcohol or know somebody who has, and we're here to help. I'll speak to you soon.